How you doing, Kev?
Hey, doing all right? I don't like this new time.
No?
I mean, it would be good if I could actually sleep in, but I can't sleep in for some reason. So
No.
now it's just pushes everything back an hour in my day. But whatever, it's fine. How's it up by you? Rainy and gloomy and gray here.
It's a clear day with
Wow.
nice weather, no wind, and temperatures in the mid 20s Celsius, mid 70s Fahrenheit. Sorry to rub it in.
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully it holds out until I get up there. It'll probably change, but it's supposed to be
Well,
dry, it says.
we got another big one on the way though.
Yeah. Hmm.
Mighty, it's quite big.
Typhoon?
Yeah.
Hmm. We've got one right now going into Central, but it's not really affecting us.
hmm Yeah, that's the one that made headlines. Uh, because I know some people in the Philippines, Cebu got
Right.
hit pretty
Yeah.
bad. There's some flooding. I've seen videos of flooding in people's houses. It's actually pretty bad.
Yeah. I've got some friends that are Filipino and they just shrug it off. They're like, this happens every year. It's fine. Like, even though dozens of people die every time, everyone I talk to, they're like, that's fine. It's very surprising. They're very nonchalant about it.
I mean,
Have you guys ever been in a tough flood in Southeast Asia?
Not
uh,
personally. I've seen it. It's been
no.
close to me, but no.
I've been in a pretty bad one in Chiang Mai, or I guess it was
Uh,
Chiang Rai, and
yeah.
the cars were like underwater, and I was stuck
Yeah.
there for a couple days. But yeah, people are pretty used to it, I guess.
Yeah. There's all these posts in Vietnam like, I'm traveling here, it's flooded right now. How long to recover? Is it weeks, months? And then Vietnamese people get on the forum, they're like, it'll be fine in 2 days. They're just they just get back to it. And I guess because they have to. But
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I remember reading somewhere that the Philippines is the one country that gets hit with the most types of natural disasters, not just in, frequency, but also in the type that happen. You got typhoons, you got earthquakes. I think
yeah.
there's
I've
some
also
volcanoes there.
I've also heard Indonesia is right there
Yeah,
because they
Ring
have
of
the same
Fire.
things. Yeah. So volcanoes. I'd rather not experience a volcano, maybe from a
Yeah,
distance.
I climbed a mountain in Indonesia and Sumatra, and the next year it erupted, and people actually died on that mountain. Like
Yeah.
the same mountain
Yeah.
that I climbed. It was very crazy to hear about that.
Yeah. They're scary. They're fine from a distance. I've gotten very close to lava in Hawaii before, but
Ooh, that's
it's
so cool. I've
slow,
never seen that
slow
before.
moving, not explosive. So it looks like we have a short, not that many assignments this week, only one.
Yeah, I think this was the week she said is a good week for people to get caught up on stuff because it's pretty light.
Yeah, break week. It's nice.
It's exactly what I need.
Yeah, same. But I'm catching up.
Got to start in on these praxis tests.
Shh. Don't speak of them.
I know.
Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome. It's good to
Hi,
see
Melissa.
Hi, hope everyone's had a wonderful week. And yeah, we'll jump right on in. I overheard you all saying this is a light week. You are correct. This is a good week for catching up. I told my other cohort yesterday, I said I would go ahead and knock out the activity early in the week, and then you can use the rest of the week to catch up if you're like needing to turn anything else in. And I'll talk more about that, of course. But um, yeah, so we are moving on to unit 7, which means you're over halfway finished with the module, so that's pretty huge. Before we get into our presentations, are there any questions or concerns? All right, awesome. Okay, I guess we'll get started then. I think we have 2 presentations tonight. Am I correct in that? Oh,
Oh,
Duncan?
I have one question.
Yeah.
Um, so I've turned in not all the videos that are up to date yet, but I think I've turned in 2 so far. Um, but they're still incomplete because I haven't
Oh,
the post teaching discussion with my mentor recording. I will get that in today, but I was wondering if I turn them in, can people still see them or evaluate them even though it's incomplete because I don't have the mentor debrief?
yeah, absolutely. People should still be able to see it, and it should pop up like, for the peer reviews. I'm guessing that's what you're thinking, right?
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Okay,
They'll be able
still
to see
pops
it.
up.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. That's a good
All right.
question. Yeah. All right. Okay. Travis.
Yeah, I know that you had or you had emailed me back that mine was incomplete because my mentor hadn't graded it yet. But my question is, because in the module it shows us 2 different activities, my submission and then his grading of it. So I wasn't sure why it would still be incomplete if there's a separate activity related to him grading it.
So this was something that was told to us back when I was like first really teaching clinical back in 2021. That even though they are 2 separate activities, and it's just so that the mentor has a place to grade, that we weren't supposed to mark video submissions as complete until the mentor evaluated their part. And it's really something to protect you from getting to the end and them not doing anything, because that used to happen a lot. We would have people get to the end and they're like, "Where's my final grade? I've done everything," but the mentor hadn't done their part. Um, so it kind of like helps, I guess, you as a candidate kind of stay on them, and us too, because there's times where I've had to intervene if there's been a couple of evaluations mentors haven't done. I'm like, hey, you have to do this. They have to have that for the complete. So that's why I did get a question about that earlier in the week, and it's something I'm going to bring up. We have a meeting, I believe, next week, and I'm going to mention that it's not written anywhere for you all to see, like, hey, this is what has to be done for a complete. So I'll bring it up and see if we can't, integrate that in somewhere. That way, it's clear for candidates, that that's a thing. But yeah, yeah,
Okay, and could on that point then, can you email my mentor? Because
I
I
can.
emailed him and I messaged him and he's been absent yesterday and today. So I
Okay.
don't know what's going on. So that would be helpful. Thank
Yes,
you.
I can do that. Absolutely. Yep, for sure.
Appreciate
And
it.
yeah, absolutely. Yep. Happy to help. So if anybody else needs that, let me know. I am always happy to reach out and just say, hey, gentle nudge. So, yeah. All right. Any other questions or concerns? All right. I think Leia's. I
I'll
think.
wait for mine at the end.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Um. All right. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and get into our presentations then. I do see in the chat the breakout room. So yeah, we'll get that. All right. Andrew, I'll let you go ahead and get started.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. And hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's presentation. I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right. So, to start off for the presentation for today, we're going to start with a game. And it's going to quiz each of you on your knowledge of InTASC standard number 7. Before I host this, I just want to explain a few things before we begin. This quiz game is just as much a quiz on content as it is on following directions. Okay? What do I mean by this? So this game will have a quiz style format with multiple choice questions with 4 answers. And the goal for you is to choose the 3 incorrect answers. It sounds confusing, but I'll say it again. The 3 incorrect answers are the correct answers, and you'll need to choose the 3 of them to completely answer the question. Okay? So, you may be tempted to choose what appears to be the correct answer. Don't do that. That's not what you're supposed to do here. Okay? So I'll go ahead and begin to host. Everyone see the join, and I'll go ahead and copy and put this into the chat.
This is giving me blocked here in China, so I can't access it.
Oh no. Okay.
I'm not sure if Leia or Minhui have the same issue, but yeah, it's not allowing me to get in.
I did not plan for this. I did not adequately plan for instruction.
It happens in China. Don't blame yourself at all.
All right, we got 4 so far.
I'm trying. Bear with me. 1 second.
Okay.
It's kind of the Wi-Fi is awful.
Leia, you may
I think I'm
experience the
here.
same problem as Travis.
I'm on VPN. I should be okay.
Okay.
But
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I need to keep waiting for anyone?
I'm here. Can you see me?
I can.
It says waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here.
Leah, how about you? Unless you're Skydiver or Buttery. Okay. Melissa, feel free to join if you'd like to as well.
Sure.
Just for the fun of it. I'm gonna give it maybe 1 more minute and then we'll go ahead and get started. Leah, are you able to join? Let me check the chat. Oh, you already said. Sorry. I just checked. So everyone's in? Right. Here we go. Oh, someone just left. Oh, 2 people just left.
I think it just got dropped.
Here we go.
Oh, no.
We're starting now.
Okay.
Remember, don't get distracted with what looks like the correct answer.
Oh, right. I totally messed up there.
Where are the questions?
Where are the questions?
Yeah,
You may have gotten dropped again.
I guess.
Can try the join link in the chat, see if that still works. Yeah, I do see one person dropped. Whoever is the fishbowl is in the lead. Ooh, looks like fishbowl is going to. Woohoo! Good job, Buttery, whoever that is.
Yeah.
All right, good job, Duncan.
As the kids would say, that's not fair. My Wi-Fi dropped.
That's unfortunate. Well, you still able got second, Leia, and Kevin got third. Good job. All right, good job, everyone. Just to review then, now let's go ahead and take a look at the actual text of InTASC standard that we're doing for today. And we're going to start at the end of the text. And I chose this order because this follows the same order as the questions of the quiz you just took. So, first one, and you can just call out the answers, don't need to type in the chat. If you want to type in the chat, it's fine, but calling out is fine as well. First one, if you remember, this is the group of people that are part of the school. Anyone know this one? It is, well, now we're switching to correct answers. I should have specified that. So this is the actual text of the InTASC standard. So for this one, it would be community for the first one. The second one, we want to learn about knowledge of who. What's another word for students here?
Learners.
That's right. Very good. Okay. What is the term used for the art and science of teaching?
Pedagogy?
Pedagogy.
That's right.
Don't
All
know how to
right.
spell it.
Pedagogy is correct. Number 4, to take many different subjects and mix them together. What's that?
Cross-disciplinary.
That's very good, Buttery. Correct. Very good. Fifth one. Who remembers the fifth one?
Content?
That would be the next
No,
one.
that's the next
This
one,
one
yeah.
is the thing that we learn for a specified term. It has everything that students will plan to learn and the teacher plans to teach.
Content?
That would be the next one. This is for a whole term, a semester, or a year.
Curriculum.
Curriculum.
That's right. And then good content is the next one. What is it that we're trying to have our learners and students achieve by the end of the curriculum? They are rigorous.
Mastery?
They are things that we set for them to achieve.
Goals?
Goals.
Yes,
Skills?
learning goals. That's right. And who are we trying to help here? Are we just trying to help the paid subscribing students? Are we just trying to help the genius students? No, who are we trying to help here?
All
Every
students?
student. That's right.
Yeah.
Which standard are we learning about today? Number 7. And what is it called?
Planning for instruction?
Very good, everyone. So that's what we're going to be learning about today. So that part was just a test to see if you actually did pay attention to the actual text of the InTASC Standard 7. And you did, so you passed. So now for the actual presentation. So today I'll be presenting on InTASC Standard 7, Planning for Instruction. The actual text reads, candidates plan instruction that supports every student in meeting rigorous learning goals by drawing upon knowledge of content areas, curriculum, cross-disciplinary skills, pedagogy, and knowledge of learners and the community context. Now, you may wonder, why did I begin our lesson in the way I did? Well, for me, humor as pedagogy is a great way to get us engaged. It's a great way to build psychological safety and participation. It's able to surface prior knowledge and misunderstandings. Another thing that I did was to model backward design, which we'll talk about more in a moment. And it's able to transform novelty into intentional learning. It also had a dual function as an icebreaker activity. So this quiz format not only lightens the mood, but also serves as an icebreaker, allowing us to connect with each other before diving deeper into the session's content. Now, to the meat and potatoes of our lesson. So really, when designing or planning for instruction, it's perhaps a good idea to follow the UBD framework, so backward design. This is a structured approach to lesson planning that prioritizes desired outcomes. You start with the goals in mind. You identify the desired results, clarify your learning goals and objectives that align with students or with standards and student needs. Next thing you do is determine acceptable evidence, establish how student understanding will be assessed through various methods, both summative and formative. And then you plan for learning experiences and instruction to ultimately design engaging and effective instructional strategies that facilitate student learning. When doing so, there are some guiding questions that you should ask yourself. First, what are the learning objectives and are they achievable? Which they absolutely should be. Then, of course, you want to make your objectives align with the SMART acronym. Second question, how should I assess understanding formatively and summatively, and how frequently? Third, what are students' interests? And as an extension of that, am I incorporating their interest as best as I can and as appropriately as I can into the curriculum? Fourth, do I use assessment data and student interest to plan sequential complexity and differentiation? Of course, the answer to that should be yes. Finally, are my goals, assessments, and learning activities aligned backward from desired outcomes? Again, these are rhetorical questions. The answer should be yes. All right. Now, when planning and sequencing indicators, there usually comes 4 phases or stages in this process. The first is the initial phase. You want to identify learning objectives and outcomes that align with curriculum standards with appropriate pacing. You also want to make sure to align with whatever standards in the country, community, state, insert geographical boundary here so that you are aligning your pedagogy and your curriculum with whatever standards that you need to align them with. Then in the development phase, you design the actual lesson plans, integrating various instructional strategies, direct didactic teaching, Socratic method, project-based learning, etc., and assessment methods to cater to diverse learners. In the implementation phase, the third phase, you execute your lesson plans while remaining flexible to adapt to emerging student needs and feedback during the learning process from students, parents, and colleagues. So this might mean students may need extra review for certain concepts if formative assessment data indicates that they don't understand a particular concept as well as they should. It could also mean to compact the curriculum if they understand it very quickly. So to condense certain parts, and that may mean adjusting the curriculum moving forward in either scenario. Finally, is evaluation and reflection is to assess student understanding and reflect on instructional effectiveness to inform future planning. So in the traditional instructional design on the left side, it follows a one-size-fits-all approach where lessons are planned based on fixed curriculum. This method may neglect the diverse backgrounds and learning styles of students, potentially leading to disengagement and ineffective learning outcomes. This is what we try to avoid, because what we ultimately want is adaptive instructional strategies, which are tailored to meet the specific needs of individual learners. By utilizing ongoing assessments and flexible lesson plans, we can adjust our teaching methods and materials to align with students' unique strengths and challenges, promoting deeper engagement and understanding, right? This may mean not just using, say, visual techniques, but also kinesthetic and auditory, more of a holistic approach, hands-on, and of course, to use evidence-based instructional strategies in implementing our teaching methods to enhance student engagement and learning outcomes. This can include collaborative learning environments, proper, responsible, and ethical use of technology, highly curated and tailored formative assessments, differentiated instruction for accommodation without dilution of standards, that's key, and application of educational theorists and Bloom's taxonomy to engage with higher cognitive processes. All right, it's now time to get into the breakout group activities. So here we go. Instructions. We're going to have 2 groups of 3. I've divided the groups according to one with early learning, K through 12, and the other with predominantly secondary teaching. So the learning goal has been set for you. You're going to decide how you're going to plan ahead to meet these goals. It's going to be about a 2 to 4 week calendar that you'll have in a Google Sheets. So you and your team will have, I think, maybe 10 minutes to plan ahead for your goal and plan at least one learning experience that leads there. And you'll also need to plan evidence-based strategies as well as perhaps a project-based learning activity as well. Before we proceed, Are there any questions? If not, I'll go ahead and copy the link and post it into the chat. Melissa, if you'd be so kind as to prepare the breakout rooms.
All right. I will go ahead and open them. And Andrew, I've made you a co-host so that you can kind of bounce between the rooms if you want.
Lovely.
Here we go.
Vikings.
I'll go. I think we lost Travis for a minute there. So our goal was, help me out, Andrew, community. Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, and it just looked up that Travis and I are actually in the middle of that right now at different levels. Travis has 4-year-olds and I have 7-year-olds. But basically, the idea is that we start with identification of community and themselves as where they fit in community. So they start with themselves, and then we do various projects, age appropriate, to expand them to what's in their school community. And the where do they get food from? The cafeteria. Where do they get help from? The nurse, the principal, the teachers. They identify security. They identify the various parts, and if they're not familiar with the school, learn where those things are. And then that expands obviously to their home communities, in their, where do you get food? The grocery store. Where do you get help? The police or the hospital. And we do a lot of visuals. I'm sure Travis has seen the same, that, they can identify a hospital because most of them have that big giant red cross. The police stations here all have the same symbol. So we give them that imagery. They're looking at it so that they identify, this is what the police looks like. This is where you get help. And then we expand that even to a larger than that, to their environment. So it gives them some understanding of how we, take care of what's around us. Don't litter. We need trees and taking care of our local environment. I'm sorry, Angie, we didn't get very far on the sheet. By the time we figured out we couldn't use it, I got it fixed. But yeah, so that's kind of where we started from. I don't know if you want to add anything there, Travis or Minghui.
No sounds there. Very good. Nothing needed. Thank you.
All right. And thank you, Leah, for presenting wonderful ideas. Just one thing just to mention to everyone. I know it was a bit of a tall ask for you to plan 2 to 4 weeks of something, but I just wanted to give everyone the space in case they wanted to fill in every minute detail for every single day, though of course it wasn't absolutely necessary. But uh, wonderful ideas, great work, and good job making it interactive as well. I think that's the key part of that. So group one, very good. Moving on, group two, who would like to present?
I could start off if anyone else wants to jump in. So our assignment was our theme was global citizenship and interconnected systems. So Leah actually came up with this based off of a project she'd done a year or two ago, where you reach out and develop pen pals with a distant community or a culture that you're not familiar with, so that you can learn more about them, compare their struggles versus your struggles, whether that's like climate or natural disasters, or even just like the type of government that they might have in a different countries. But essentially the goal was to come up with, at the end of the 4 weeks, a report or essay on the community that you've been interacting with, paired, which could be part of your summative assessment, paired with an interactive visual presentation of the students choosing. So that could be like a poster or a presentation in front of the class. But it's really a way for the students to develop their writing skills, interviewing skills, presentation skills to learn about a new community. And it's pretty broad. You could take this in any different direction depending on your subject, whether it's math or ESL or science. You could tailor this in kind of any kind of subject matter direction that you would want to do. But Leah also mentioned, this could be an opportunity for kids probably near the end of the 4 weeks to send each other mementos or gifts from their community. So whether that's like a snack or a toy or a piece of like their national regalia that they find representative of their community. Shipping times obviously would need to be towards the end probably. And formative stuff that we talked about would be kind of a check-in at each week about the students' writing communication with their pen pals, or even is probably more appropriate now with internet and computer access would be recorded video messages. So pretty good opportunity for lots of different directions to go in. I don't know if Duncan or Leah, you want to jump in on anything else?
I think you got it all there.
Yeah, you summed it all up really well.
Great job, Kevin. Great job, group two. Excellent idea as well. I actually did something like this at my own school. It's for grade 6 students, and they have a pen pal in Australia. And they actually handwrite them like you guys had as well. So I think there's a whole lot more sentimentality behind that. And, there's a lot more emotional connection to the project as well. So again, great job, everyone. Very good. Just to conclude the presentation with this quote, education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself, by theorist John Dewey. Again, I think this quote summarizes the point of education, that it's not necessarily a destination, it's the journey that matters more. And that's definitely my philosophy to it. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Melissa,
Andrew.
you there?
Yeah. Did you want to just, I guess, pop over and do the case study, or?
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, I've also got the case study today. Everyone see? And can everyone listen? Working on sound. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Today, I'll be presenting a case study of a student I've been working with during my clinicals at Shinshu International School. For privacy reasons, the student's name has been changed Kenji. This presentation will offer a holistic view of his background, learning profile, and progress, as well as the interventions and reflections that have shaped our approach. Kenji is a 17-year-old Japanese student enrolled in our 11th grade world history class. His first language is Japanese, and he's still developing proficiency in English. The main focus of our approach has been to support his adaptation and ensure that any accommodations are both appropriate and culturally sensitive. The intent is not to single him out, but to help him participate meaningfully in class activities and content learning alongside his peers. Kenji is extremely shy and reserved. He rarely speaks during class discussions and never volunteers answers. At lunch, sits with a group of male classmates but is seldom seen actively engaging in conversation. He often rests his head on the desk during class, a behavior we've come to interpret not as defiance or disengagement, but as quiet withdrawal or possibly mental fatigue. Through limited informal conversations and observations, we've learned that he enjoys reading manga and watching documentaries, particularly those related to Japanese history. His family has been understanding and cooperative in communication. However, they prefer that Kenji remain in his current placement, likely to avoid the stigma or embarrassment that might come from requesting special treatment within a tightly knit school community. Academically, Kenji is identified as an English language learner, as his overall English proficiency is significantly below the rest of the class. He arrived 3 years ago when he was in 8th grade, knowing no English whatsoever. What caught the eye of our school counselor was the social withdrawal and slight truancy. He tests around the late elementary level, though his abilities vary widely across the different domains of listening, reading, writing, speaking. For example, his listening comprehension is somewhat stronger than his expressive writing. While he completes classwork when prompted, his written output tends to be minimal. He rarely answers questions aloud or contributes to class discussion voluntarily. To better understand Kenji's academic needs, I compared his work samples with those of his peers. The next few slides illustrate this contrast, using examples from 2 different assignments. First, a comparatively difficult short answer question regarding one of the causes of World War I, and second, a relatively easier assignment that functions as a participation score at the beginning of our classes. These examples help highlight the differences in task engagement, comprehension, and written expression. In this first example shown here, we see a sample from a typical student with a short answer question about World War I. Most students demonstrated understanding of the lesson content, wrote in complete sentences, and adhered closely to the structured format we had practiced in class. Where omissions did occur, they were generally due to time constraints rather than a lack of comprehension or effort. In addition, almost all students indicated whether they felt they needed additional help with this concept at the bottom of the paper. You'll notice that despite this particular student's exceptional work, they felt they needed more help, better understanding the concepts taught in this lesson. However, in contrast, Kenji's submission showed no written attempt whatsoever. Despite multiple scaffolds provided, such as sentence starters, vocabulary boxes, he left the response area completely blank. You'll notice that he also did not even use the checkbox options at the bottom of the page that invited students to request additional help. Possible explanations include a lack of comprehension, a task that was simply too difficult given his language level, or fear of embarrassment over submitting incorrect work. This next slide shows the kind of responses most students submitted for our CNN 10 bell ringer activity. These daily warm-ups ask students to correctly categorize each story with their corresponding trait. S for social, P for political, I for interactions with environment, C for cultural, T for technological, and E for economic. They also need to summarize current events from the 10-minute YouTube video as best as they can. Once again, most students correctly identified each story's corresponding trait and wrote in complete sentences, correct grammar, appropriate vocabulary, and clear evidence of comprehension. Kenji's responses to the same task shown here, on the other hand, are typically and noticeably different. His sentences are often complete, his grammar consistent. Many words appear to have been copied directly from the video's subtitles, without any evidence of ability to connect ideas. Still, this assignment showed slightly more engagement than his longer written work, perhaps because it was shorter, simpler, and more routine. There is at least evidence here that he was listening, even if his written expression lagged behind. And he is beginning to more regularly associate stories with their correct corresponding trait. Our main priority has been to encourage Kenji's participation while preserving his dignity and comfort in a socially sensitive environment. We've implemented lower thresholds for earning rewards, such as verbal praise and participation points, to reinforce small successes. Additional scaffolding was used on select worksheets, but we take care not to make these adjustments too conspicuous, as that might draw unwanted attention from classmates. During one-on-one consultations about his written work, we bring him to the front of the room just like any other student, but we often spend more time guiding him through his responses and vocabulary as the rest of the class engages in separate assignments. Despite his challenges, Kenji displays several important strengths. He is patient and observant, and when given encouragement in a low-pressure context, he responds positively. Over time, he has shown gradual improvement in comfort and participation, small but meaningful steps that reflect persistence and openness to growth. But of course, Kenji continues to face significant challenges. His academic progress is slow, and he struggles to keep pace with his classmates, both language and content. His enthusiasm for class activities is not always apparent, and his motivation can fluctuate depending on the task. Nevertheless, these are not signs necessarily of apathy, but rather symptoms of a student still navigating linguistic and cultural adaptation. From my mentor's perspective, we've applied a range of differentiation and scaffolding strategies where possible, as well as more flexible grading to encourage persistence. Kenji can also earn rewards, typically reserved for higher performing students, helping him feel included in classroom recognition systems. However, my mentor has noted that such accommodations can only go so far. They often address surface level needs rather than the deeper and more structural linguistic psychological barriers at play. Moving forward, the next logical step would be to connect Kenji with additional one-on-one English tutoring outside of regular class hours, as we no longer retain a dedicated staff member for this purpose as we once did in the past when he first arrived years ago. Strengthening home-school communication could also provide valuable insight into his learning habits and motivation. Within class, continuing to use inclusive and culturally sensitive strategies will be key to maintaining his confidence. Long term, the goal is to support his gradual integration into more advanced English instruction, ensuring he can participate fully and independently at a higher academic level. While his situation presents challenges, it also reminds us that progress for ELL students often looks different, measured not in leaps, but in steady, patient steps. In summary, Kenji's case underscores the importance of empathy, cultural awareness, and differentiated support in a multicultural classroom. As teachers, we must balance academic rigor with human understanding, meeting students where they are while continuing to challenge and uplift them. Thank you all for listening. Thank you guys. Sorry I went too long. Thanks for your patience.
No worries. Anybody want to give some quick feedback before I go over the activities? Okay, Kevin, yeah. Yeah, I was just that this brought to mind a student I had who is very similar. Yeah.
I have a question, Andrew. Did you guys
It's frozen. Yes,
So,
anybody? Oh, sorry. I was just going to chime in and say if anybody needs to run, I know it is time to go, so that's fine, and I'll leave this recording. So yeah, if you have to run.
I'll stick around in case Leia comes back so I can answer her question.
Yeah, hopefully she comes back. Oh, I'm sure she'll come back then. Um, I see Kevin in the chat posted something. Oh, there she is.
Hey Leia, if you want to ask your question, feel free.
it dropped my Wi-Fi. I'm sorry. I
It's
was just
okay.
asking, do you guys ever have tried like a peer, like connecting him with a peer, like, but not just peer, but like a buddy peer. So like they check in, hey, we work on these things, we work on this thing together. Here, here's what maybe to kind of pull them along even a little more.
Yeah, actually we have. And we're doing it now. It's actually another fellow Japanese student, and it seems to be working pretty well. We also pair him with some of the stronger students in the class with group work. So our upcoming project is for them to make a homemade music video regarding the 1920s and 30s economy of the world, the different countries, and the rise of authoritarianism in certain countries. So he's paired with some of the two stronger female students in the class, and they're the kind that are also very socially extroverted, so they're keen to ask him questions and include him, and he reciprocates. Still his personality, he never initiates any kind of questions, but he's still like, oh, thanks for including me, I'm sorry I'm too shy, kind of. So yes, we're being proactive about that. Good question, Leia. Thank you. Yeah, good point, Kev. We've had some that are borderline not appropriate. I'll tell you a little bit more. It involves some wearing of very problematic regalia in public settings and parks, and we've told him, please don't do that. Yeah, yeah, good points.
All right. I'll jump in and say thank you, Andrew, for both of your presentations. They were
Thank you.
awesome. And yeah, of course, if anybody has more feedback, you can always, reach out to Andrew and share that. But I'm going to go over our activity because I know some of you probably need to get going. So let me share my screen. Okay, so this is a pretty straightforward activity, and this is what I meant by I would get it done ahead of time, like, and then you can just work on anything you need to catch up on. So this is a reflection. And you're basically going to reflect upon this information here in point number 1. Also include in your reflection this here from the discussion forum. And we can, I don't even remember if we did a discussion on this. We may not have, but if not, we can always do one in class. But just include, the reflection on the process and benefits of using assessments to gather data and all of that. And you'll turn that in. So it does say for number 4, write or record a final reflection, but your reflection that you write is going to be everything kind of put together. So you'll have the reflection upon the assessments, the reflection on the process and benefits of using assessments to gather data. That'll all go into the reflection that you're going to turn in that's written or recorded. And that's really it. So I would knock it out ahead of time, and then you have time for everything else. So, any questions on that?
Can you say that again? We do what? Reflect on what?
You're gonna just basically reflect on, do you remember the data collection points that you've done so far? You've done, yeah, so basically that. You're just gonna reflect on the assessments that you gave for that, if you felt they were effective. Yeah, no worries, Kevin. Have a good week. If you felt they were effective, what did you use? Would you make any changes? So reflect on those, and then you're gonna also add in the reflection, basically what you're thinking about the process and benefits of using assessments to gather data. Um, you know, what are you thinking about the process? Is it useful? Anything you want to add in there. And that's really what you're going to reflect on, and you're just going to turn that in. The way this is set up is that you're supposed to reflect on the assessments, do a discussion forum post, get feedback, and then write a final reflection. But I'm kind of just combining it together for you all, so it's fewer steps and you have more time to make up things that you might need to make up and catch up on. So that's what I'm trying to do with it.
And then we do, and then we respond to 2 other cohort members. We do
Well,
that.
we won't even do that because we can have a discussion about that in class. And so that way that will cover that part. So you just would do the reflection part. So,
And so is it okay that, so the template had a place for insert reflection recording? This is just a kind of a continuation of that? Is
basically,
that what
yeah. Yep, basically, yep. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yep.
just do just the reflection. We will do the responding to peers in our next VC.
Right. Yep, we'll just kind of discuss it in the next VC. Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yep. Any other questions?
I've got one, but it's just related to a personal issue. So if anyone
Okay.
wants to ask theirs first.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you need to go, that's fine too. So, I think Leah had a question too, similar, like a personal thing. So, but if anybody else have questions? All right. Okay. Well, if you have a personal question, feel free to ask that. Let me stop the recording.